Hello and welcome to today's video on how to avoid high-interest debt. In this video, we will discuss the dangers of high-interest debt and provide you with some practical tips on how to avoid it. Firstly, let's discuss what high-interest debt is. High-interest debt is any type of debt that has a high interest rate attached to it. Examples of high-interest debt include credit cards, payday loans, personal loans, and some types of auto loans. When you take on high-interest debt, you end up paying more in interest charges over time, which can limit your ability to save and invest for the future. Now, let's take a look at the dangers of high-interest debt. High-interest debt can damage your credit score, making it harder for you to get approved for loans and credit cards in the future. It can also lead to a cycle of debt, where you are constantly struggling to make ends meet and are unable to build up savings or investments. Additionally, high-interest debt can cause stress and anxiety, which can impact your mental health and overall well-being. So, how can you avoid high-interest debt? Here are some practical tips. Create a budget. The first step to avoiding high-interest debt is to create a budget. A budget will help you to understand your income and expenses, and will allow you to plan your spending accordingly. By creating a budget, you can identify areas where you can cut back on expenses and put more money towards paying off debt. Prioritize paying off debt. Once you have a budget in place, it's important to prioritize paying off your debt. Start by paying off high-interest debt first, as this will save you money in the long run. Build an emergency fund. Building an emergency fund is another way to avoid high-interest debt. By having money set aside for unexpected expenses, you won't have to rely on credit cards or loans to cover these costs. Avoid impulse purchases. Avoiding impulse purchases is another way to avoid high-interest debt. Before making a purchase, take some time to think about whether it is a necessary expense or a want. If it's a want, consider waiting a few days before making the purchase to see if you still want it. Use credit cards wisely. If you do use credit cards, use them wisely. Pay off your balance in full each month to avoid interest charges, and try to keep your credit utilization ratio below 30%. In conclusion, high-interest debt is a dangerous trap that can limit your financial flexibility, damage your credit score, and cause stress and anxiety. By following the tips outlined in this video, you can avoid high-interest debt and work towards achieving your long-term financial goals. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.